out here?
No, I think that's what. I think we've seen two. They look like a tern, but they're
Bigger and black.
they're black.
Yeah.
Oh, so then no. Or are they like a duck?
No, they're. I don't even know how to describe them. They're kind of like a mix between a seagull and a tern, but they're like all black. They're very very aerodynamic. They can like turn on a dime at top
Oh,
speed. Then the ones here that I've seen are called parasitic yaggers, and they chase the gulls and the terns around after they caught food,
oh
and they
really?
just harass them until they drop the food, and
Uh,
then they just switch direction and catch the food before it hits the water.
serious?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch.
Buggers, eh?
Yeah, I don't think
No,
they catch anything on their own. I think they just steal
really?
food. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen any of those. I seen a tern flying with. It looked similar to a tern, just different coloration.
Okay.
I think there's a few different types of tern out here though.
I think you're right. Have you seen the Bonaparte skull? They look kind of like a tern, but they're bit bigger, fly more like a gull.
I don't think so. No.
They've got like a black cap.
Oh
Looks like
really?
a seagull with a black cap.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know if I haven't seen it on the river, but you see them kind of inland over the ponds and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's mainly pretty much the only thing besides like we're seeing some ducks now and things like that as they're migrating, and the geese, lots of snow geese, and then it's just the terns are just kind of the ones that are flying around all day.
The terns you can hear all night long. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember because I did some work in the Aleutian Islands with auklets, and we had like terns and petrels and all sorts of birds on that island. And I mean, 24 hours a day there'd be birds awake and flying around and making noise. Anyways, the last few nights I've noticed at late at night you can't see anything because of the fog, but you can hear the terns calling and like they're flying around all over top of you.
Oh,
And I think maybe the babies, the young, are fledging,
oh,
and that they're being taught to fly at night. So,
eh.
you
um,
ever get dive bombed by them?
no,
Go near
just
their
one.
nest.
Oh, we got a bunch right behind us. Um, no, just the one that snatched that capelin away from me.
Oh yeah.
That's the only one that's the closest I've come.
If you get anywhere near their nest, they have no issues hitting you right in the top of the head.
They will hit you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know of people who got like cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like little torpedoes when they're diving, so I guess you probably don't want that thing shooting down at you.
No, and they got those sharp little bills.
Yeah, I didn't know they'd actually make contact because I've been dive bombed by all kinds of birds, and they bluff, they
Yeah.
veer off the last second, like swallows, those, and well, at home it's mainly swallows that'll come after you, especially if you're under a bridge where they make all their nests under there and you're
Yeah.
fishing or something. They're
I think it depends on how close you are to the nest. Like,
yeah,
if you're real close, then they have no problems hitting you.
oh
But
yeah,
I usually just walk around with my hand over my
yeah.
head.
If you just wave in your head, and then that kind of scares them away.
Yeah.
Um, well, it's cooling off a little now too, eh?
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly.
Quarter after 7. Yeah, it's weird how much everything's changed out here. Like it just seemed like it was middle of summer, nice and hot, and it's dark or it's light out until 10 o'clock, and now it's sunset's 8:50, I believe, and well, and just this we've been getting the fog and the rain and stuff a little more, and it just all of a sudden it's taking a turn.
Yeah, I noticed when the weather starts to change here, it changes really fast.
Yeah.
So, and you just kind of like slide right into the next season.
It's weird that in the meantime, you think just south of here, everybody's still getting sweltering heat, and
Yeah. I remember this spring, my family was back in Ottawa, and they'd be saying, "Oh, it's like 25 degrees and blah blah blah," and we look outside, you're like plus 10 or no, not even, like closer to 0, and there's still snow all over the place.
yeah,
Like, oh, I'm
that's
glad you're having nice weather.
that was this summer too.
Yeah.
We were everything. There's like I was out ice fishing. There's still 4 feet of ice that I was drilling through with the auger, and people at home like, "Oh, we're getting record temperatures, 20 degrees," and I was like, "Man, it's so crazy."
think what I'm gonna do is, as everything keeps getting warmer and warmer down south, and it starts creeping further north, I'm just gonna keep going further
Yeah.
north.
Well, it is like I like the heat, and in the winters I used to flee to somewhere warm, or just seek out a warmer destination. And this is kind of the first time where I decided to do the opposite of that. But Cobus told me when I came up here, he's like, "Oh man, he's like, you'll get those days in the winter where it's -20. It's so nice out, and we go on picnics." And I was like, "What are you talking about? -20 degrees Celsius? That's not picnic weather." And then when it does happen, when you're up here for the winter, and you're like, you look at the thermostat in the morning, and it's like -20. You're like, awesome.
Yeah.
And you put on a light jacket and head out for the day. You can't wait to get outside. Yeah, it's so crazy how you climatize.
And it's unbelievable how quickly it happens too. Like, I know after like a year and a half, 2 years of being here, you know, you'd go outside and it'd be after winter, it'd be in the spring, and it'd be like just under zero.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, nice. And then it goes just over zero, and you're like t-shirt and shorts, and tourists are walking around, and they're wearing like parkas.
Yeah.
You're like,
even now you see like a lot of them. Well, I'd say I don't consider myself a local. Like I'd say I'm still a tourist, but I guess I've just been here for the summer now, so I'm climatizing a little bit. But
yeah,
you could see people walking around with their thick down jackets on and hoods, and it's just weird how your body can same thing if you go somewhere smoking hot. Pretty soon you adapt to that, and you're fine. Like,
I don't know if I can handle the heat though. I'm okay. Like with cold, you can put stuff on, right?
Yeah.
Put on layers, put on warmer stuff. When it gets too hot, you can only take so much off.
Yeah. Except for if you're near water, then it can get as hot as it wants.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind it then, but I remember I was away for the winter and in Central America, and it was smoking hot the whole time I was gone. And when I got back, it was I think +10, and everybody's in t-shirts and stuff. And I was like I went back to work, and I was talking to some of the contractors on different houses I was supposed to be working on, and I think they thought I was having a seizure because I just couldn't stop shaking. I was freezing, man.
That's funny.
My blood just thinned out, and I totally lost my ability to keep myself warm. See a few little groups here and there, but they're not as interested in the boat now.
Nope.
I think that boat of snorkelers, they went out into the bay.
Yeah, I think you're right. These swells are becoming a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I could hear the buoy dinging away. Ding dong. Wish there was a hot tub in town somewhere.
There is.
Huh?
I know of at least 2 in town.
Oh, serious?
I mean, they're private ones, but...
Pardon?
They're private hot tubs, but...
Oh, really? That was the first thing I was looking at, the pool. I was like, man, I wonder if they got a hot tub or a sauna or something, but that's a big negative.
There's a sauna in town, too, but it's in someone's basement.
Oh, I gotta go make some more friends or something apparently in town. Funny, you go in the hot tub in the winter and it's the best thing ever, but I'm guessing when it's like -40 something, it's not
the
good
best
at
thing
all.
ever.
Must be expensive to keep that thing up and running in that sort of temperature.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we got 2
I should ask my buddy's got one on his deck, so...
Unless they just insulate them a lot better. Got 2 whales here now. Man, the water is still looking pretty good. Oh, 3, 4.
Oh, did you see the big chunk out of that guy's back?
Oh, he's got a big scar, does he?
Oh, like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of them are crazy how big of scars. It shows you how tough they are, how resilient they are.
Have you seen any grading from bears, from bear claws?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's cool.
Yeah, we were talking to Stefan about it, and it seems like horizontal marks and stuff, or it depends, I guess, what they look like too, but it'll be like the teeth marks from other belugas.
Okay.
Just scraping through that layer on the surface, but then you see like vertical marks, and you can see it's like a different. They're like skinnier. It's more claw-like, and
Okay. Cool. That's
no,
good to know. So they can actually differentiate between like ice rubs and tooth grating and bear.
a little like I can't really. I mean, I just whatever make a guess, but Stefan seemed to have a little more skills, I guess, or knowledge as to what it was or where it come from.
Okay. You guys haven't seen any killer whales or anything, or?
No, I heard there is some up north, but they weren't sure if they're going to come down. And usually, in the orcas come this way, it's in August. They said if it happens, most commonly it's in August.
Yeah, I heard late August, early September.
Pardon?
I heard late August, early September.
Yeah. So you never know. That'd be something to see, though. Holy.
Man, would it ever? I haven't seen them yet since coming up, but I've seen some pictures people have taken from like a few years before we got here.
Yeah. Pretty sure we would not see a single beluga whale that day.
Either that or they'd be all in the river.
Yeah.
Like as far up the river as they
Yeah,
could
that's the thing.
get.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to get up that far. They'd be like going
Yeah.
upstream, get as shallow and away as far from the bay as possible.
I'm not sure. From the people that have seen them, though, it sounds like they make a pass, like they come down and it's generally stay out in the bay, like in
Yeah.
deeper water, and then they just keep cruising.
Back and forth.
Yeah, but I guess the one time that they did come and everyone went out and saw them and took the pictures and stuff, they got a few belugas because they said a lot of the water was just
Red.
red. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing like they just sneak up. They know by now when they're in the area or whatever, and they're smart.
Oh man.
It's scary how smart those things are. You hear all the different pods. This pod in this part of the world, and this pod in this part of the world. They learn a new hunting technique, and they learn like it's.
Yeah, they're remarkable animals. They fascinated me for forever.
Pardon?
They've been something I've been fascinated with since I was like in grade 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just phenomenal creatures.
I seen my first one when I was a kid in BC on the island. Yeah, they're so cool when you see them in the wild too.
Yeah. The first one I ever saw was in Marineland, which, it is what it is.
Yeah. But when you
but
see that dorsal straight up and down, it's like a whole different animal.
Yeah, I know, but seeing in the tank, or seeing them in general was I think what got me into the sciences, into the marine biology. But then when I was working in the Aleutians, I saw a wild pod through a spotting scope, so they were really far away. But when you see that big male dorsal fin, and it just comes up, and it just seems to keep going forever, you're just like, oh my god, they're so much bigger than I thought they were.
Yeah, it gets deceiving when you see them curled over. That's part of the reason why they're unable, like in the wintertime, they're not heading up north, right? Just that's one of the adaptations with the belugas and the narwhals is lack of a dorsal fin, and they're better suited for life under the ice.
Mm-hmm.
That huge thing, that'd be all kinds of trouble in the,
man. Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to last. Just looking at one of the comments here. Oh, so it looks like, I think it's just, I could barely read it right now, but something regarding the camera maybe. Can't hear you. Man, I am getting water leaking in from somewhere. Figured it was just bound to happen.
Shower's gonna be nice tonight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then back out bright and early tomorrow. I'll just let everybody know now. We'll be on the water 6:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. Hope to see you guys there. It seems like we make a transition though once we get in the mornings. Just because people are viewing at different areas. They're in different time zones, so they can't always tune in the evenings, or they can only tune in the evenings or only in the mornings. So we make that switch tomorrow.
Does it tell you where your viewers are from?
We've done that before. Like had people let us know where they're from. We get Europe and all through the States and Canada, and it's pretty cool.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's a weird thought, that we're just bobbing around out here little dinghy, and people can potentially just watch us from anywhere in the world. Like if you got an internet connection, and you know about Explorer, then it's pretty crazy. Same with just seeing the beluga whales. Like,
Yeah.
oh, let's see what the belugas are up to over in Hudson Bay, and you're off in Timbuktu somewhere. It's crazy. They must have some more whales up there. Everyone's out on the viewing platform on Senor 2. Oh yeah. The synovial fluid thickens up in your joints, and
Well, this whole hand has just been like totally mangled.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh, I'll see ya.
So when it gets like cold, like this, like I can barely move.
Oh really?
This, see that scar there?
Oh yeah.
That was a hockey skate.
Oh,
Two plastic surgeries.
serious?
Which is why I can't like move right now because everything's just like frozen. I broke in here and here and here, dislocated that, broke that. And I'm just like,
From a skate?
no, this is a skate. This was football. This was punching a pane of glass.
Oh yeah.
This was football.
Holy. His hands had a rough life. Should give it a break and use the left hand for some of those things.
Well, this one's been dislocated too, but everything else seems to be good so far.
Yeah. Yeah, you always, people, if they get an injury and they need screws or plates, then the cold tends to feel it in their bones.
Yeah, it's not fun, that's for sure.
No. We got, oh man, the waves and the wetness on the thing, it's hard to read. I don't know how many yadas are in there, but there's a bunch of yada yada yadas or something, I think, is one of the, oh, yada yada Yoda maybe at the end. It's watching from Queens, New York. Cool. I was going to say that's a long ways away, but I just keep forgetting that we're in Manitoba. I'm thinking I'm back in Alberta.
Queens, New York?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that far.
I've always wanted to go to New York. That's Brendan Presser, the journalist who was on the boat the other day when Rob was playing cello. He lives in New York. Well, he's Canadian, I think, but currently his home is in New York, I think is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go. I've been to lots of places, like in the western side of Canada and the States. I've never gone too far east. This is actually Churchill, Manitoba is the furthest east I've ever gone in Canada.
Man, I'm the total opposite. Churchill's the furthest west I've ever gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done every province in eastern Canada, like east of here. Lived in New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Ontario, stuff like that. And then I've done like the northeast states and then all the way down the eastern seaboard.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But
we're
west,
totally
like I skipped
opposite.
everything, went to Alaska, and that's it.
I think the furthest east I've been in the States is probably Denver, Colorado.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah, I liked it there too. It was cool. I've got a buddy who lives there.
I would love to go to Denver. I'm a huge Broncos fan.
A huge Broncos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my friends, they go to lots of football games. I've never been to one of those either. I had a trip planned to Louisiana, and we were going to go to Texas and all that stuff, and it was going to be a big road trip all the way to California, and it fell through.
Nice. Oh,
Unfortunately.
it fell through? That sucks. There's
Oh,
a baby.
There's a little calf jumping out of the water.
Where's your mom?
I might be running into Sea North 2 here in a few moments. So hard. Like, I'd imagine the tourists and stuff coming to Churchill, like, you have no idea what to pack. Because even when you look and you see like average annual temperatures and stuff online, I mean, you still kind of, even with that in mind, it's difficult to prepare. You're not taking into account the wind or if we're gonna get rain or anything like that, and you almost got to pack 2 suitcases for 2 different seasons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
I mean, in the winter, you're usually good just going for as cold or as warm as possible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, just pack everything in the kitchen sink when you're put all of your clothes, all of your belongings in a suitcase. You'll probably end up wearing the suitcase too, just to try to even be a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Even this summer, though, like we get, I think you probably noticed it this summer, we'll get some days in the 20s, and then next thing you know, you'll be like almost 0.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, what happened?
Doesn't seem. Here's a sea North 2 coming up in front of us. How's it going? Yeah. Yeah, you guys, if you wave, you're on Explore. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a black hole. You'll get sucked in and there's no return. Oh. How's the whales out there? Awesome. I don't know. They all.
You had them.
Yeah. We were heading up. Cool. Pardon? Oh, yeah. I'll get out of your way. I'm not sure what he's up to here. Oh, it seems like it just got way more choppy there or something. Yeah, I think people think sometimes that we're joking when we say that we're online. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like seeing those black domes in stores and stuff when they're just pretend they don't actually have a camera in there. They're not even hooked up, just to make you scared. We seen a bearded seal out here a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. That'd be
That's
cool.
pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no mistaking those guys.
No, the whiskers on those things are huge.
Yeah.
We saw one of those last year. I was working in York Factory with Claude Daudet. And on the weekends, we'd kind of putt around a little bit and see what we could see up along the river and along the opposite shoreline and stuff. And we had this one bearded seal every day. He'd come in the river, swim around the boat, check us out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was really cool.
So they're a little more brave than the harbor seals?
Yeah, well, I think around here probably a lot of the seals are a little skittish because there's a lot of people who will hunt them.
Yeah.
But out in York Factory, like, there's hardly anybody who lives out there, so they're probably a little less familiar with people.
Yeah, because the harbor seals, like, we've had a few that are kind of close, but I think they just sort of pop up. They're not coming close. They just happen to be there when we're there.
Yeah.
And then they take off. But the bearded seal, he wasn't crazy far away, and he poked up a couple times. And Ramey was out as well that day.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they weren't spending any time with us. They were just, you could see them scoping it out when they pop their heads out of the water.
See any ring seals?
No,
No.
not that.
I haven't seen any ring seals either.
Stefan told me, like, he does some research with the seals here as well.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bummer for him because the weir getting all ripped to pieces. That's kind of where the seals would hang out.
Yeah.
But he said the ring seals, they won't be here. They all take off in the summertime. And
Oh, do they?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll
Did you
just
say
be
where they
harbor
go?
seals. Pardon?
Did you say where they go?
No, we never got into that.
Huh. I know like nothing about ring seals, and I'd like to know something about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he knows lots. He's seal biased.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he knows lots about the belugas too, but I think his true passion, what he was saying, is the seals.
Yeah, he's been up here working on the seals for a few years now, I think.
Yeah.
Or well, quite a few years actually.
Yeah. So, no, it'd be interesting. I don't know if Meg's going to be heading up at the end of the month. Some of you might have been tuning in at the beginning when we were first out, and Meg was on the boat for the first week or week and a half-ish. And her husband Stefan, he was out a few times too, so Meg is coming up at the end of the month. I'm not sure if Stefan is as well, but she'll be back out on the boat, and I'm sure we can talk Stefan into coming out and joining us too if he's here.
I'm sure he'll be kicking around somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully he comes. Seems like a busy dude. Might be tricky for him to get away, but
Yeah.
I guess maybe you could just say he's coming up to work, do research.
Yeah.
I don't know where they went. Oh, there's a group there, a little bit, a couple. We're definitely thinning out though. What was that? Was that camera flash?
I didn't see anything.
I don't think it was lightning. It was like last time when we were on the boat the other day. We were sitting beside one of the Senor Zodiacs, and the guy had his camera out, and I just happened to look away, and I seen a flash, and I was like, oh, he just took a picture. And then a few seconds later, the thunder. I was like, oh, time to get off the water.
Yeah.
I thought I just seen a flash there again.
Yeah, I got a little lightning rod here.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like holding on to it with my hand. It's probably not the best idea to hang out in the water when there's lightning around. I don't know if I don't know. We'll wait and see. Keep forgetting to wipe this camera off. Sorry, everybody.
Someone was saying they saw a wolf on the Sloops Cove hike there the other day.
Yeah, they seen it right up by the fort, apparently.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's apparently a rare sight.
It is, yeah. You usually don't see them out this far. Usually they're more inland.
Yeah. Wonder what it was up to, and if there's more in the area, because they said they just seen the one, but...
You kind of get those rangers every now and then, you know?
What's that?
You kind of get the rangers. They're just
Yeah.
kind of like looking around.
Yeah, they can cover a lot of distance. There's that pack, they collared them, or they collared a few or something, and they found they're in the area, in Churchill area, and it was, I can't remember what the time frame was, but they went back and forth from Nunavut like 3 times.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, they're just running all day, I guess. I don't know, that's insane.
Well, yeah, I guess they just are constantly on the move,
Yeah.
right?
And it seems like the wolves up here, they don't have that, they don't have their area or whatever, like they're not as territorial.
Okay.
I don't think, like, I mean, obviously I don't think one pack of wolves would be able to go all the way up to Nunavut and claim that entire area.
I wouldn't think so, no.
But, and they're huge. The ones that I seen this winter out at the cabin, it's crazy. They're big animals, man.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I heard some like in upwards of like 120 pounds or something, or maybe
Yeah.
even more.
That's so crazy.
That's unreal. I like to get one of them beside my dog and see how big the difference is.
Yeah. I seen stuff online of people keeping coyotes as pets now.
I've seen that
Getting
actually.
puppies and raising them.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of them around. They're actually doing better in and around cities than they do out in the sticks.
Yeah. Well, they
So.
said, what's his name? I have the book, and it's another one on my list. I always talk about that, books I want to read. Dan Flores is the author's name, I think, and he has a book on coyotes. It's supposed to be really good, too, but how they're, like, extremely resilient and able to adapt, and that's why, because there's been lots of times where they've gone out, like, with the goal or the mission to, like, eradicate the coyotes.
Okay.
And they just can't. They said even when they're yipping, and when you hear them, if anybody knows anything about coyotes, like at home where I'm from, you'll just hear them just squawking out there, just yip yip yip, like super loud, lots of them.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons it's a form of roll call. So if they find that the numbers are diminishing, that through the roll call, that'll trigger a larger litter in the females next time they're pregnant.
No way.
Yeah. So they have like these built-in mechanisms that.
That's cool. I was watching a talk. There's a guy who's studying urban coyotes in and around Chicago, and he came up to Ottawa when I was there, and he was giving a talk on it. And he was saying that like if you take the same area that a city covers and then you map it out and you have a bunch of coyotes in there, the areas that each like pack, if you will, covers is much larger than if you put them in a city. So he said in the same area inside of a city, you'll have like 4 to 6 packs in the same as if it was out in the boons.
Really?
Yeah, and he said that like they all seem to be able to get along fine. They do really well in the city, and they tend to like skirt humans as much as possible. Like they'll travel at night or travel in like the back alleys and stuff. But he also said when they look at their diet, they find that their diet consists of like less than 1% of anthropogenic waste.
Of what?
Anthropogenic waste,
Oh,
so
really?
like human waste. He said primarily it's like in the 80s or 90% range of like rodents and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so really the only thing that's competing against them for the same food source are like cats,
Yeah.
like feral cats.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You think they'd be chomping a little bit on household pets too? Because like,
Well,
you hear that's a problem in certain areas. Same
Yeah.
with mountain lions.
So that was one thing he talked about too, is that he said that that's a lot of concerns that people have, but he said through his research he found that only cats were really endangered. Dogs, like he tried to document attacks on dogs, and he found that the only time that he would really see a heightened attack on dogs was during the breeding season when they had pups,
Oh.
and it was when the dogs were off leash and near the dens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it
So
was
then
like
it
a
was like just
defensive thing.
protection or self-defense or protecting their pups.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So.
I guess it must be, yeah, like certain areas too, because you always hear those stories of coyotes luring a dog, you know, or befriending a dog or
Yeah.
things like that. I've heard lots of those stories.
I've heard that.
There's a problem with weird fox in England too.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
heard of that? Like within
in the
city limits.
Yeah.
They got loads of them apparently. Red
Yeah,
fox.
red foxes. Yeah.
Kind
That's
of a
cool.
similar sort of deal. I'd imagine they'd be. I don't know if they eat a lot of garbage too, but they might be doing like the rodent thing too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think they do actually eat rodents, foxes.
Yeah, they're pretty
So,
efficient
know-
at it apparently.
In Ontario, they're seeing wolves and coyotes hybridize.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then those they call them coy wolves or eastern coy wolves or something like that. And they're actually finding some of them are like leading these packs of
Really?
coyotes. Yeah, because they're a bit bigger and I guess a little bit smarter.
Weird.
Yeah, so they've seen in the Ottawa area, they've seen like I think an increase in deer deaths like in and around the city, and they think that like the coyotes are kind of packing up against the deer, which
Which
usually
is probably a good thing because deer do really well around cities as well, and then that's caused like a big issue with incidents like car crash, like
yeah
or car collisions and stuff. So it's kind of, I guess, let nature take its course is probably a good thing in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
exactly.
Oh, there's a big group over there by shore. There's like 3 terns floating over top of them, 4 terns.
Oh yeah.
We'll head over that way. I can see people on Sea North pointing at them too. Question, are there more bears or wolves? Well, there's about one polar bear per person in the Churchill population. It's like, what, 800 to 1,000 or something?
I think that's the current estimates. Yeah.
Yeah, the wolves, I don't think, well, part of the thing with the wolves, so this year we had a load of caribou, like piles of them that were in the area, and it's the migratory herd, the Nunavut Barren Grounds, I think is what they call them,
Yeah.
caribou. And they kind of just go all over the place. There's years, they say, where you don't even see a caribou track. So a lot of stuff, the marten, the wolves, the fox, like all those animals will sort of move around with the caribou. So there's lots of caribou. Like there was this year, we were seeing tons of wolves, tons
Yeah.
of fox, tons of kind of everything. So kind of all depends. I don't know. I'm guessing. Just like a lot of stuff up here, there's probably no real estimate done, and I think it'd be really difficult to do one.
I think if you had to take a stab in the dark, I'd say there's probably more wolves, but you see more bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you'd have to go out into the tundra to be finding wolves and stuff, and
Yeah.
it'd be a total different ball game out there because here the bears are just basically they're coming to you, so it's and they're congregating in a smaller area kind of, or they're easier to find. One of the things I realized this winter being out on the Skidoo is it just goes forever out there, man. The amount of land, like you can't even describe it. Like even like there's no way I could do it justice talking about it here. and the wolves will just, I mean, even if there's more wolves than bears, they've got such a ginormous area that they're moving around in.
Yeah.
You'd have a heck of a time trying to.
But the wolves up here are definitely more skittish because people, they're harvested as part of the fur trade.
Yeah.
Whereas the bears up here are protected, so they're less concerned about people.
Except for black bear, they're.
Yes, that's right.
And they're not even around here either. The black bears are further out into the.
Well, you can see them in Goose Creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we actually have all 3 species of bears here, right in the Churchill area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard there's possibilities. Yeah, I talked to a few people, and they said they've never. I didn't even think of Goose Creek though. It's.
Yeah. There was 2 this spring with all the flooding.
Oh.
There's one that was trying to get into Buddy's cabin, and there's another one that they were just monitoring. So.
Because there's lots of moose and stuff in that area too, so I guess it's a good spot. Good spot for them.
Yep.
I don't know where that group of whales went. Oh, maybe just right in front of us. Oh, we've seen, talking about birds, I just learned it from Jim, white-rumped sandpipers.
Okay.
We were seeing lots of those flying around when we were talking earlier about if we've been seeing birds. I think a few just flew by there. That might have been what those were, I don't know. But he said they're on the move. He said the terns will be taken off in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Which he thought was surprising because Jim was out with us the other day and he runs one of the tundra buggy tours, and he said the terns, the young ones, are still like, they got their down, like they still have their.
Oh, really?
They're not fully transitioned yet to like, you know, what an adult tern looks like.
Yeah.
So he thinks it's kind of surprising to think they'll be migrating soon when they're.
I wonder if they had a delayed hatch this year.
Yeah. Seems like everything. They're getting hummingbirds here this year. They said like.
Yeah, ruby-throated
common.
hummingbirds. No.
Pardon?
Ruby-throated hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
First time they've been like actually identified here. Some people have said they've seen them, but.
Yeah, it's nuts.
There's something else actually I just heard. What were they seeing? You're seeing a lot of like temperate species start to move further north. Like I think it was in the Labrador coast. They're starting to see striped bass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cutting me off. I don't know where they went. Hey. Seems we both came over here to see that group, and the whales, they vanished. I don't know where they went. Yeah. 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 What were you saying about straight back in Labrador?
Yeah, they're starting to see striped bass come up in some of the bays.
Oh, bass.
Yeah.
I thought you said striped backs. I thought it was like a type of bird.
Oh, no, striped bass, yeah.
Oh, those are supposed to, that's like a good game fish, isn't it? Like a sports fish?
But you typically don't see them like that far north.
Would they let you, are they an invasive species? Would you be allowed to keep them then?
I was actually just talking to somebody about this today. I'm not totally clear on. I mean, I guess technically it would be an invasive species because it's not found there normally.
I guess if it's due to like climate change, then it's like,
well, yeah, because if the climate is changing and the water is starting to get warmer, like fish can live within a certain, the parameters. So if it's becoming more conducive for them to live there and they're traveling further north, then you would assume also that the things that were there would start to move north as well. But who knows?
Well, one thing I thought was super interesting, when I was at Easter Island a couple of years ago, one of the guys that I was hanging out with, and he kind of gave me tours. He's like he's from the States, but he'd been living there for I don't even know how long. Like, he's a local basically now, and he knows absolutely everything about the island, all the plant life, like everything is crazy. And he thought that some of the locals were like painting rocks. They were going to do something on the beach, like Isle de Pascua or Easter Island or something on the beach. And he's kind of ticked off about it because he just thinks it was cheesy or whatever. So he was looking into it, and the rocks, it was new coral growth. It wasn't spray paint. It was like thin layer new coral growth, and it turns out that the Humboldt current that usually doesn't totally come to Easter Island now. It changed, and it's like wrapping around the island. So it's like, I think he said subtropical now, and he said come back in 100 years. He's like, yeah, there'll be a whole new underwater
That'd be cool.
Environment going on. So
Very
you get
cool.
changes like that. That's drawing new everything basically.
Everything. Yeah, you're gonna have a whole new ecosystem there.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
So yeah, I don't know what, but I mean, then you think like the lionfish, those things, man, you gotta eradicate them. Anytime you see them, people want you to catch them or shoot them with the spear gun because they're everywhere and they do horrible things to other types of fish.
Oh yeah.
There's that group there again.